One way a watchman develops his sight is in the place of encounter. An encounter is man meeting with God. And one thing that comes out of every encounter is that for every encounter, there is an instruction given to that man. The instruction is meant to be carried out by the watchman. That is what he sees. That is what he heard. And he was commanded to declare what he sees. So after that powerful encounter he had with God, the next stage of his life is that he was giving him an instruction. And if he cannot carry out an instruction well, it means he never sees well. Hallelujah. Example, in the book of Genesis, the Bible told us how God formed man. The Bible said God formed man from the dust of the ground. It means God formed the body of a man. And the Bible said God breathed into the man became a living soul. But we are never taught how God formed the spirit of a man. It means forming the spirit of a man is on the basis of encounter. Man was formed from the dust, given the body, God breathed into man, and man became a living soul. That man is made body and the soul. Then how about the spirit? It took God just a day to form the body. It took God just a day to form the soul. But it did not take God one day to form the spirit. Forming the spirit of man is in process. We saw it in Genesis that the first encounter God had with man was able to name everything God created. How did he know? You see, after that day, we never had that Adam had an encounter with God again. The Bible says in the cool of the day, God came for fellowship with him, and God didn't find him there. And God said, Adam, where art thou? The process of God forming man's spirit at that point was terminated because there was no more encounter. The Bible says the first Adam was made a living soul, and the second Adam was made a what? A quickening spirit. It was not in Adam we are complete, but it was in Jesus we are complete. Why? Because Jesus was made that quickening spirit, which Adam was to be that quickening spirit. But at the point of encounter, Adam failed. He was to be a watchman, but he failed that process. And in Jesus, the Bible says we are complete. Now the second thing about a watchman is found in the book of Revelation chapter 3, verse 2. So I told you as a watchman, if he cannot see, you'll be defeated in battle. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found your works perfect before God. Every watchman, you are given a mandate, you are given an instruction. I told you after every encounter, you'll be given an instruction. That instruction is an assignment given to you. Now the Bible is saying be watchful and strengthen those things God has given to you, which are ready to die. As a watchman, you watch those things. That subgroup God gave to you is an assignment. And you are a watchman over that subgroup. The family God has placed you over, the family God has given you to be head over, you are a watchman over that family. God said be watchful, strengthen it, for it is about to die. The ministry you felt, nothing good can come out of it. The Bible says strengthen it. I have not found your work faithful as a watchman. God says strengthen it. These things are ready to die. Assignment as a watchman, we must not allow anything to die in our hands. Papa said we are harvest hands, and harvest hand are hands that multiplies. Nothing dies in an harvest hand. And God is saying, as a watchman, I have not found your work faithful. You are not yet perfect. Strengthen those things that remain, which are ready to die. This is the second thing I found about the watchmen. There are men who give lives. I would say second Adam was made a quickening spirit, and we are complete in him. I tell you, every encounter you have with God has the ability to give you a 1,000 years experience. Bible says a day in God's sight is like 1,000 years. So Adam lived 930 days. That means Adam never lived one day in God's sight. God said the day you eat of this fruit, you will die. And the book of Peter says a day in God's sight is as 1,000 years in the world. So it means Adam died physically, Adam died spiritually. He lived how many years? 930 years. And Bible says a day in God's sight is like 1,000. An encounter you will have with God has the ability to give you an experience that will last through 1,000 years. Though you may die here on earth, but your work will speak for you. Though you may die here on earth, but men can still make reference of the work of God you did on earth. An example of watchman we saw that had an encounter was Moses. Moses said, I have found favor before you, show me thy face. And God said, you have asked a difficult thing. And I asked myself, what is difficult for God to do? And God told Moses, you have asked a difficult thing. And the Bible said, with God there is nothing impossible. But at this point, God confessed. He said, you have asked a difficult thing. He said, nevertheless, there's a part in me. I will hide you by the cliff of the rock, and I will pass by. Moses had that encounter once, and he saw thousands of years. God did behind. That was the watchman. He was able to explain how God created the world bit by bit, stage by stage, because he saw the back of God. What if you have seen the front of God? That is an assignment for every watchman. You have the ability to see. If you don't see well, you will not declare well. If you don't see well, you will stand well. Isaiah chapter 6. Bible gives an account of Isaiah. It says, in the day where King Uzziah died, I also saw the Lord. It means there were other men of God who fasted that day. They saw God. There were other children of God who fasted, they saw God. But Bible didn't give us the account of those men. The Bible only gave us the account of Isaiah. Something was significant about his encounter. He was a watchman. And I told you, the first thing every encounter will do in your life is that it will break you. It will make you be like God. And Isaiah saw that he was not fit. He said, woe is me, for I am undone. I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among people of unclean lips. The Bible said that an angel took a coal from God's altar and touched his lips. Right from that day, if you check the prophecy of Isaiah, it changes. Before it was woe, 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 woe. It was from then until I began to prophesy about the coming of Christ. No wonder it says, by his stripes we are healed. How did he know? He had an encounter that could run for thousands of years. My cry for us this morning is that nothing will die in our hands. That God will give us an encounter that will speak for us even when we've gone out of this world. I told you, an encounter with God has the ability to give you an experience that will run for 1,000 years. Just one encounter. Hallelujah. So as a watchman, don't forget one of the abilities that you have the eyes to see, you must see. And two, you must be able to strengthen the things God has given to you. Don't let those things die. It may look small, but I tell you, the Bible says, God says, you have not found those things perfect yet in your hands. But if you rest as a watchman, life can be given. The Bible says, in him, we are complete in him. For the first Adam was made a living soul, and the second Adam was made a quicking spirit. Can you bow your head this morning? Ask the Lord to quicken you once more. Now, God, quicken me. Those things in your hand will not die. As a watchman, you have been given the right to watch over those things. They will not die.